Hello and welcome to News Central Television with me, Blessings Musugu. The top stories at this hour. President Tinubu promises massive food production, 15% inflation target in 2025. Nigeria invites Niger Republic's dictator for talks to address tensions over sabotage claims. Senegal's president declares end of hosting foreign military bases from 2025. We've got the details in a moment. It's 2025 and we welcome you to our first newscast of the year with warm wishes from the entire team at News Central Television. Let's start the bulletin by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has reassured Nigerians of the government's determination to boost food production, curb inflation, and strengthen the economy in 2025. Now, in his New Year message to the nation, Tinubu outlined key economic achievements from 2024, including lower fuel prices, rising foreign reserves, and a stronger naira. He described these as positive indicators that will continue to drive progress into the year. The president also noted that the Nigerian stock market experienced record growth, creating trillions of naira in wealth. He attributed the surge in foreign investment to renewed confidence in the nation's economy. However, he acknowledged the persistent challenges posed by inflation and the rising cost of essential goods, particularly food and medical supplies, which affected many households in 2024. Now, Tinubu pledged to intensify efforts to reduce inflation from its current rate of 34.6% to 15%. He emphasized the importance of reforms aimed at boosting local food production and manufacturing essential drugs to achieve this goal. Still on the new year, former Vice-President Atiku Abubakar has called on Nigerians to unite for good governance in 2025. In his New Year message, Atiku urged Nigerians to remain vigilant and actively monitor the actions of political leaders to ensure they are held accountable. He emphasized that 2025 offers an opportunity to reshape and redefine the national dialogue, encouraging citizens to play an active role in safeguarding the country's democracy. Now, Atiku stressed the importance of holding political leaders accountable, regardless of party affiliation, and ensuring that no one holds unchecked power that could erode liberties or lead to further exploitation of public office. Reflecting on the challenges of 2024, the former vice president remarked it provided a sobering glimpse into the pressing need for governmental accountability, while acknowledging that Nigerians endured their arduous trials by God's grace. Now, as the year 2025 begins, Nigerians are eager to leave the challenges of the past year behind while remaining hopeful for a brighter future. News Central's Bernard Akede spoke with several residents in Lagos, specifically in Berger, that capture their reflections and aspirations for the new year.
New Year's Day here in Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, and of course, people are still going about their regular businesses. Lagos, like they say, never sleeps. From the pedestrian bridge here in Berger, we've been able to meet and speak with Lagosians. Some are optimistic of the new year, some are sad that 2024 was tough, while others believe that 2024 was a very good year for them. Some say they made profits, some say they made losses, depending on the kind of businesses they've done. Now, while some believe that prayers will make things better, others are of the belief that life comes with good and bad. It's left for you to pick what you want.
Actually, I'm not celebrating. I'll just go home and just rest. 2024 was not really good. It was filled with ups and downs, but all through it, I scaled through. Okay, I have some plans I've already set for 2025, and hopefully I'll achieve them bit by bit. I can't achieve everything I know, but at least I'll just try one step at a time.
Just to go around, flex with friends, enjoy ourselves, and thank God for the year. For me, all years are good years. All years are good years. I don't believe in prayers. I believe in using your sense. I'm a scientist, so you just have to work hard.
2024 is actually one of the best Yes, because I had some few achievements that I never thought maybe I would be there even in 2 years. So it's one of the best years.
I'm out here because as a transporter, we always be on the road every day. And secondly, I need to work to make money for the children to feed. It was a year of striving. It was a striving year. Coupled for the fact that things are expensive, fuel was extremely high. It was just this last week to New Year, we suddenly find out that the price of fuel suddenly dropped down to 950 something. And my plan is to travel, bro. Let me tell you the truth. My plan is to leave the country because I don't know what 2025, what is going to give to Nigerian citizens.
And so begins another new year for Nigerians resident here in Lagos, the commercial capital. For some, it's the beginning and a fresh start, while for others, it's just another day to continue their lives. But the hope remains the same for many Nigerians, particularly those in Lagos, that 2025 will be much better than 2024. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede saying, Happy New Year.
Now, as the new year unfolds, it's only a matter of days, perhaps hours, before residents across major cities return to their daily routines. But in the early hours of New Year's Day, the focus is on how they settle into the year ahead. News Central's Austin Azu, Chinwe Ogele, and Emmanuel Bagudu, who will be joining us shortly, are on the ground to bring us updates on how Nigerians across some major cities are marking the start of 2025. We have Austin Azu, who is currently in Asaba, and we have Chinwe Ogele, who is also in Aba. Austin, Chinwe, Happy New Year, first of all. Good morning. How are you feeling about the new year? Austin, you go first.
Expectations, and this morning Christian faithful in Asaba, they went to the church to begin the year, and it was quite exciteful seeing Christians appreciating God for a beautiful new year, and of course committing the year into the hands of God. And the priests and the parishioners, we are quite happy that yes, they are very optimistic about the new year 2025. Of course, I have one of the respondents here to share his own thoughts about the new year. Okay, please let's meet your name and your designation.
I am Nonso Anthony Ngene by name.
So how did you say the year 2025? What's your expectation for the year 2025?
2024 has been very harsh and rough for everybody in Nigeria because of the economy and the dollar up and down rising like that. And we just pray 2025 bring us good fortune and everything comes back to normal the way it used to be, and that will be something very nice for Nigerians.
All right, if you have to set agenda for Nigeria leaders, what would be your message to them?
My message to them should be just one point agenda. If one person can give us light and the next person comes with an agenda of road, I think that will help us grow with time.
Okay, your name again?
I'm Nonso Anthony Ngene by name.
Thank you very much, Nonso, for that beautiful insight. Like the people who spoke to earlier on, equally affirmed what Nonso just said right now about good leaders, because it seems if we are able to have good leaders, at least 80 to 90% of our challenges in Nigeria will be reduced.
All right, Austin, thank you so much. Okay, please still stay with us. We'll still like to get more on the feel of how people are enjoying the new year in Asaba. But let's cross over to Aba now, where we have Chinwe Ogele. Chinwe, Happy New Year. How are you feeling about the new year, and how's the new year going in about where you are currently?
Happy New Year to blessings and everyone. Of course, I'm in Umuahia right now, and the celebration for the new year continues. As people are still traveling today, and some others traveled last night. So, but the celebration is that a new year has been ushered in, and a lot of people are happy that they are able to make it into the new year. So, basically, what the people are saying is that this year will bring good fortunes to them more than what the past year have been. I have some who should, what his expectations are for the end of the year. Good morning, sir. He's got your name. Not central. Okay, tell me, what are your expectations this new year now? What do you expect to happen? Okay, so is there anything in particular you want God to do so that things will get better, especially now at the state?
This personally, I think the government that is our less really to government some things. One is can do that, can help the other one that we don't have. The best solution is trying.
All right. Thank you very much. So we just heard from one of the respondents. Basically, they expect that things will get better. The previous year was rough for a lot of people. There were still some people who said that they had the best of time in 2024, but majority of the masses, complain about the hard time and the way they had prepared for it. And in 24 water way it's ended. So they are that a lot of things will better for them.
All right, Chinwe, thank you for that. And apologies for the slight mix-up. You are in Umuahia, Abia State Capital. I did mention Aba earlier. Apologies for that. All right, Austin, let's come back to you in Asaba. We see that there is a police van right behind you. What is the state of security? What is the purpose for the police van? Are they trying to ensure peace? Did something happen, or is just to prevent something from happening?
Yes, you quite agree with me that before the Christmas celebration, the CP read out is an itinerary to ensure that they are able to protect lives and property. And of course, what you are seeing here is not shortfall of what the CP has assured residents of Delta states of adequate security and proper policing during the Yuletide season. And the security agencies, I met them earlier on, of course they told us that they are providing security for the people of Asaba. And this is the entrance of Asaba. This is Summit. This particular road here leads straight to the government house. And of course, you know quite well what it means for you to have government facilities here on ground. And they are here to ensure they are able to protect lives and property and ensure full compliance of the law. Everyone seems to be going about their normal duties, and no one is being felt, no one is feeling intimidated, because the security agencies, some of them are stationed at strategic places, while others are patrolling. We have Operation Delta Sweep, and we have other Operation Delta Save, and we have the Civil Defense, we have the Nigeria Police, and other security agencies to ensure that this Yuletide celebration does not come with insecurity glitches. So obviously what they are doing here, they are providing security for the residents of Asaba and environs.
Right. Thank you so much, Justin, for that. Let me throw the same question at Chinwe in Umuahia. What is the state of security there? Are there measures put together to ensure that as much as people are enjoying and celebrating, there is still peace and they maintain order amongst the people?
A while ago, some policemen arrived at this location where we are now because it is almost trying to activate. So I was worried about what we were doing here. So I had to explain to them. So then what they are doing is stop and search the drivers that are coming into the state via these routes. So there's security, there's peace, and everybody is moving about their businesses. There's no much of a plan. I think we can. I'm also seeing the Commissioner of Police passing through this route. So that is to tell you that they are doing a job at making sure that there's traffic anywhere, that everything moves perfectly the way it should.
All right, Chinwe, thank you so much. All right, I think that's the much that we can take for now from Austin Azu, who's currently in Asaba, and of course Chinwe Ugele in Umuahia, Abia State Capital. Thank you so much for joining us, and once again, Happy New Year. And please keep tabs on the people there, how they're celebrating, because we'll still circle back to you to tell us how the celebrations are ongoing. Thank you so much. All right, we did mention earlier that there was a New Year message from from the vice president, from a former vice president of Nigeria. He talked about certain things and concerns for the nation and how the nation can progress. Now we're being joined by attorney at law and social reforms crusader Evan Tufeli, who will be speaking to us from Atlanta in the U.S. to help us make sense of everything that the former vice president has promised Nigerians or has assured Nigerians or asked Nigerians to hope for in his New Year message. Evan Tufeli, thank you for joining us and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
Good afternoon from over here. Now, Evans, having listened to the former vice president speak on the New Year expectations and hopes and aspirations, how much hope would you say that this actually inspires in the people, especially Nigerians?
Well, is it the former president's speech or the president's speech?
The former president and the former vice president. Sorry for the confusion.
Well, what I saw was a speech of hope, which was put out there, which actually is not different from what we've heard in the past or what we've seen in the past. It's just a speech of hope. But in our country, Nigeria, like in many other places, this is a speech that is expected to lift the spirit of a citizen, to put them in better light and to give them hope for the future, inspire confidence, and direct their minds towards the projection of government so they are well informed and thereby giving them a sense of belonging. Usually, that is what the objective is. No, but the truth is that we have seen speeches in Nigeria. I mean, from independence till now, we have our presidents have written and read one of the best speeches in the world. Okay, but the baseline is that speeches don't make a country. You understand? Now, it's talking about the fact that they're going to create a company that will guarantee credit. They're going to create so many issues around that will boost the economy and improve the lives of the people and the rest of that. But I talked about CNG, they talk about all those things. But remember, I've been saying these things since inception, since this government came into power. I mean, the steps and the planning and the processes and all that, we've not seen them. We've not seen those. We've not seen the far-reaching commitment of government to guaranteeing the improvement of the lives of the citizens. We've not seen it from insecurity to economic downturn to, the lack of coordination to issues in education, in labor, medicals, that's public health care, and the rest of that. We've not seen it. And we are still being promised. This government is a year and into administration. I mean, we've not seen those very graphic values delivered to the people in exchange for the exercise of democracy. We've not seen it. So what we've had and what we've seen so far are promises upon promises upon promises upon promises. So it's hard actually to begin the year with further promises. It's very hard. I mean, if you've not seen deliverables for the past how many years when this government emerged, and in the new year, the first day of the new year, we are not being shown the deliverables of the promises made before. Now you are being promised other deliverables in the first day of the year. So when are we going to see the promise? When are we going to see the value of governance? When are we going to have a bite on the physical manifestation of good governance in Nigeria? That's the question. That's the question the citizens should engage the leaders, the government for, and have that resolved as quickly as possible.
Okay, Evans,
Before
I wanted to quickly...
we keep on promises.
Evans, apologies. Let me just interrupt with it, since we're talking about promises. Now, the president did mention, and let's focus a little bit more on the president's New Year's speech. He did mention that the government is committed to reducing inflation from 34.6% to 15% by increasing food production, and these are his words, and promoting the local manufacturing of essential drugs and medical supplies, which you know at this point that we still heavily import. How feasible would you say that these promises are? I mean, you've mentioned the promises that are meant to instill hope in the people, but how feasible are these words, especially the specificity of his statement?
Yeah, that's the same question I'm asking, that the president is talking about, cutting down inflation by 15%. Okay, take it down from 34, percent, and then bring it down. And you ask him now, okay, if that is what they're going to do, have you taken care of the variables, the areas that, jack, that is making inflation to get to this level in the area of food security? What exactly has the president done in the area of food security? Okay, if he has taken care of food security, if he has built capacity around energy, okay, he has built capacity around public health care, transportation, okay, and have taken care of these ministries and have them deliver. You understand, the inflation will naturally come down, okay, reduce it. It will come to a bearable minimum. Okay, but these are areas that we've not find projection, we've not find capacity and success in those areas. Those we'll call them critical areas. Okay, so when you have not done that, you see, inflation is not going to drop by a speech. Inflation will drop by government's concerted effort to, make production available such that price becomes an issue that is addressed. National income has to flow directly to the people and improve their lives. Government must structure the country in a way that will deliver that. Okay, now we're going to have tax reforms. Okay, that is quite okay, an attempt, because now you're going to have local government present budgets to their councillors, local government chairman present budgets to their councillors, and you're going to have proper democracy at the local government level, and local government funds are going to be taken directly to them. But those are attempts, baby step to structure national income to flow to the people. But have the president dealt with the intersection of corruption at the local government level and at every other level, at the ministerial level, where corruption is biting very hard? Because if it persists, then you are going to have even the inflation kick higher than that. And then he was talking about the fact that the price of fuel has reduced. I don't know what kind of reduction the president referred to. A reduction that we were at 100 and something naira when the president came in. Okay, it got to 1,000 plus. Now he says it got to, another. So which reduction really will all this policy that he has put in place create? Look at the seaport. We have only one functional seaport in Nigeria, which is in Lagos. I mean, others are functional. Now they're talking about Badagry. We are concentrating all the seaports in one location, in one economy. Okay. Just Lagos. So Lagos now generates. So I'm just giving you these variables to see. You see, what will guarantee the reduction? Yes. Of this inflation have not been well thought out. Okay, and it cannot be delivered by a speech. Okay, so at the risk of overflogging the issue, I'm going to ask that you give me the opportunity to ask the final question, right? And that is, a lot of people have said that most times when Mr. President speaks, the element of consideration is
almost missing in his statements. That they've said that he's not considerate enough, he doesn't feel the pulse of the people, or he pretends not to. So what specific expectations would you or the ordinary citizen have had about what the president should have told Nigerians on New Year's Day? What do you think Nigerians would have loved to hear? Very quickly.
Well, I would have thought that, you know, the survival instinct in man should have been addressed, because the people may break loose at any time if that issue is not addressed. And that's the issue of food security. You saw how people went out to scramble for food and they got themselves killed, children to adults and all that, because they went to get palliatives. That would have sent a message to the president that all is not well at all. That is not the way we were living before he came in. So that is how people now live. Then there is a need for him to look into that issue. Address food security. I would have thought that maybe you have a whole paragraph to address food security and to tell us how is going to make that happen and to show us a blueprint to that effect. Okay? So food security was one for me, very critical. Public health care was the second for me. It's not just about governance and then talking serious economic jargons. It's about survival of the citizens first. The Constitution says the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. And also, that is where this government derives a legitimacy from. So why is the president talking off the roof? You understand? CNG is important, but it's not as important as food security, and that should be addressed critically. That is where the bulk of the issue is.
All right.
Now, the issue of all those extraneous issue of airports and all that is not important. What is important now is that your citizens survive the times.
Okay. Evan Sufeli, this is the most we can take. Attorney at Law and Social Reforms Crusader, thank you so much for joining us. These are very salient points that you have raised, and people would have loved to see more consideration on his part. But anyways, it's a new year. We're going to see how it unfolds, whether or not he mentioned, whether or not he didn't. We're going to see what plans are available or made on behalf of Nigerians, for Nigerians. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, now it's time to go on a short break. And when we come back, U.S. court orders release of seized $6 million arms funds to Nigerians. Details after the break. Many thanks for staying with us. Now let's head to Rivers State, where Siminalayi Fubara has presented staff of office and certificate to 4 newly recognized monarchs in the state. Among the honorees is Mujahid Asari Dokubo, a former Niger Delta freedom fighter from the Kalahari extraction of the state. He was recognized as His Royal Highness, the Amanyanabo of Turasarama Puri in the Degeme local government area of the state. Others are Winston Oputibaye as the Amanyanabo of Koniju and the Okrika local government area, Eze Nobu Uwo as the Eze Igbuehuda in the Ahuada East local government area, Prince Ike Ehie as the Eze Igbu Oriluko, also in the Ahuada East local government area of the state. The event held at the Rivers State Government House in Port Harcourt on Tuesday.
In terms of this recognition this evening, is not for personal aggrandizement, but for service. It is a call, a responsibility to help us protect life and property in your domain. I don't want you to see this elevation as another platform to create problems in your locality. It's important to us. We have the power to still withdraw this recognition, but I don't intend to do that. So I want you to be partners to the government and to ensure that we continue to succeed.
And now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has assured that several completed key access roads within the capital will be completed in January 2025. The minister, during the inspection of the roads, commended the contractors for keeping to the schedule within their contractual terms, lauding the quality of the roads seen on ground.
Here we are in Saburi. You recollect that the contractors promised that by December they will hand over these projects. To the glory of God, we'll round. You've seen that the project has been completed. So the one in Abaji, which is also done by Krembok, and then the other two done by Centraco and Gilmore. From the report I have, is remaining only one. That's almost 95%. The other ones have been completed. So we believe by the grace of God, after the altitude, that we'll be able to commission this project to come to January.
Now, Nigeria has won a protracted legal battle to recover over $6 million in arms funds that had been seized by the United States government since 2014. The funds were confiscated from an arms broker attempting to supply military equipment from the U.S. to Nigeria without the necessary license. Now, the U.S. government argued that the broker's involvement in the sale, export and supply of military products to Nigeria without authorization violated the Arms Export Control Act, resulting in the seizure of the funds. However, the U.S. District Court for Eastern California has ordered the release of the funds, amounting to approximately $6.02 million, after confirming Nigeria's legitimate interest in the money. The federal government has expressed its readiness for constructive dialogue with the leadership of the Republic of Niger in a bid to de-escalate the growing diplomatic tensions between the two nations. Now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, stated in a release on Tuesday that Nigeria is committed to fostering peace and stability in West Africa. He emphasized the need for candid discussions to address mutual concerns raised by the president of the National Council for the Safeguarding of the Homeland in Niger Republic, General Abdurrahman Chiani. Chiani had accused Nigeria of collaborating with France to destabilize its junta-led government. In a Christmas Day interview, he alleged that France had forged alliances with militant groups in the Lake Chad region to undermine Niger's security, claiming Nigeria was complicit in the scheme. We're still looking at the year 2024 in retrospect. Now, at the beginning of the year, President Bola Tinubu promised to fight corruption in 2024. To achieve this, the president in October of 2023 replaced the chairman of the EFCC. We now take a look at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's one-year progress under the leadership of its executive chairman, Ola Olukoyede. Bernard Akede reports.
On October 31st, 2024, the EFCC held a media conference to commemorate Ola Olukoyede's 1 year in office as chairman of the commission. Speaking through the Director of Public Affairs, Wilson Ubujare, the EFCC highlighted its action-packed and result-loaded year, which it says reinforces its commitment to tackling economic and financial crimes.
The essence of the mandate is to move Nigeria forward. And I made known my 3 policy objectives. Number 1, to use the instrumentality of this work to stimulate the economy, which is what is done anywhere anti-corruption works anywhere in the world. We can't be fighting corruption and your economy is not diving.
In his 1 year as EFCC chairman, beginning from October 18, 2023 to October 18, 2024, the commission has charged 4 former governors to court for alleged corruption. Among the notable prosecutions are Yaya Bello, former governor of Kogi State, facing charges totaling over 190 billion naira, including money laundering and criminal breach of trust. Darius Ishaku, former governor of Taraba State, charged alongside Bello Yero for misappropriation of 27 billion naira. Abdulateef Ahmed, former governor of Kwara State, accused of laundering 10 billion naira alongside a former commissioner of finance. Willie Obiano, former governor of Anambra State, arranged for the alleged mismanagement of 4 billion naira. And most recently, former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, who was arrested and is being investigated for the alleged diversion of 1.3 trillion naira in state funds. These high-profile arrests have fueled the EFCC's claim of progress. However, critics argue that focusing on former governors, particularly Yaya Bello, does little to address the deep-rooted corruption that persists across Nigeria.
I do not consider the Yaya Bello case with the EFCC a triumph for the EFCC in their fight against corruption. The EFCC, in the case against Yaya Bello, came across as a personal fight, like a vendetta, almost like a persecution. There was an unnecessary obsession with detaining him. There was an unnecessary obsession showing that they can get him in. I think that is silly. The EFCC of the future, I believe, should be more, and I've said this elsewhere, it should be more forensic and less Rambo. The EFCC is called economic and financial crime. Economic and financial crime are not done with guns, they're done with pens and computers. So why do you have to investigate it or arrest it with guns and locking up people?
A 2023 report by the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics revealed that Nigerians paid 721 billion naira in cash bribes to public officials. Corruption in public institutions, many say, is just as critical as prosecuting former leaders. Furthermore, Transparency International's 2023 Corruption Perception Index ranked Nigeria as the 145th least corrupt nation out of 180 countries, far behind nations like Denmark, the least corrupt, while Somalia remains the most corrupt.
The reason why corruption continues to thrive is that we're treating just a part of corruption. We're treating the moral criminal side of corruption. A broader view at corruption, I've written and delivered the paper elsewhere called The Anatomy of Corruption. If you want to look at corruption very well, you have to look at the sociological, economical side and managerial side, the administration that lets corruption thrive.
Politically exposed persons should not go anywhere near our judiciary. Politically exposed persons should not go anywhere near EFCC. The reason why you see some of these things happening today, where EFCC wants to carry out an operation and Yaya Bello already has a hint before the operation happens, is because go and look at the recruitment process for EFCC in the last 10 years. It's politicians, senators, House of Reps, they bring their children, their cousin, they bring a list.
In the words of François Valérian, chair of Transparency International, corruption will continue to thrive until justice systems can punish wrongdoing and keep governments in check. Leaders must fully invest in and guarantee the independence of institutions that uphold the law and tackle corruption. It is time to end impunity for corruption. As the EFCC moves forward into 2025, the hope remains for a corruption-free Nigeria, one where justice is fair, institutions are independent, and impunity is a thing of the past. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
Coming up on the news, Senegal pledges to end foreign military presence in 2025. We have the details after the break. Many thanks for staying with us on News Central now. Now, Senegal's President Bassirou Faye has announced that all foreign military presence in the country will cease by 2025, marking a pivotal step forward or towards fulfilling his promise of safeguarding national sovereignty. In his New Year's address, Faye reaffirmed his administration's commitment to reducing dependence on foreign powers, a central pledge of his campaign when he assumed office in April. The announcement builds on his November directive requiring France, Senegal's foreign colonial ruler, to shut down its military bases in the West African nation. Now, at the time, Faye argued that the presence of French forces was incompatible with Senegal's sovereignty. However, Faye stressed that the decision does not signify a diplomatic rift with France, setting Senegal apart from other West African nations that have taken similar actions in recent years.
Forces armées de proposer une nouvelle doctrine de coopération en matière de défense et de sécurité, impliquant entre autres conséquences la fin de toutes les présences militaires des pays étrangers au Sénégal dès 2025.
Now, Kenyan President William Ruto has admitted that there have been abuses by the East African country's security forces following widespread protests against the surge in alleged kidnappings that have sparked public outrage. Now, human rights groups have accused security forces of carrying out illegal detentions since youth-led anti-government protests in June and July were met with heavy crackdowns. On Monday, police detained dozens of protesters and used tear gas to disperse peaceful rallies, calling for the release of those who had gone missing. Last week, Ruto pledged to stop the abductions, a promise that activists have seen as an acknowledgement of responsibility. However, he also urged parents to monitor their children's activities, as many of the missing individuals are young people who have been critical of his administration online. Now to stories outside the African continent. The sad development, South Korean investigators have successfully extracted initial data from the cockpit voice recorder of the Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 that crashed, resulting in the deaths of 179 people in the country's worst aviation disaster on home soil. Deputy Minister of Civil Aviation, Ju Jang-wan, confirmed the progress in a statement on Wednesday, highlighting that experts are still assessing the best approach to retrieve data from the second black box, the flight data recorder. The crash has sent shockwaves through the nation, with authorities prioritizing a thorough investigation to determine the cause of the tragedy and enhance aviation safety measures.
음성 기록 장치에 저장된 자료를 이미 추출 완료하였고 오늘은 이 자료를 음성 파일 형태로 전환하는 작업에 착수할 계획입니다. 그리고 파손된 비행 기록 장치는 국내에서 자료 추출 가능성을 기술적으로 지속 검토 중에 있다 이렇게 말씀드리겠습니다. 2025년 1월 1일 10시 30분 기준 사고 수습 상황은 다음과 같습니다. 신원 확인입니다. 사망자 179명, 전원 신원 확인이 완료됐습니다.
Nigeria will now mandate evidence of low carbon emissions and a renewable energy program from all applicants seeking all licenses and permits, beginning Wednesday in a decisive move towards achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2060. Agbenga Komolafe, Chief Executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, announced that the enforcement of these new requirements will commence on the 1st of January 2025, which is today. Applicants must adhere to the newly introduced Upstream Petroleum Decarbonization Template, UPDT, a comprehensive guide issued to align the petroleum industry with both national and international climate goals. The regulation applies across the upstream sector, covering all approvals, including divestments, and compels operators to adopt methane management programs, energy-efficient technologies, and renewable energy integration. Let's talk sports now. The mid-season transfer window for the 2024-2025 Nigeria Premier Football League will run from the 6th of January to the 5th of February. Organizers announced the window to allow clubs to bolster their squads for the second half of the season. The first phase of the league concluded with Enyimba hosting Bendel Insurance in Aba. Following match day 19, the NPFL entered a 3-week break. Now, Remo Stars lead the standings at the halfway point with 36 points from 19 matches. Still in sports, women's football development in Nigeria is set for a significant boost as FIFA has urged member associations to apply for funding to advance the women's game. In a circular sent to all 211 football associations, including the Nigerian Football Federation, FIFA emphasized its commitment to increasing opportunities for girls and women through its Women's Football Strategy 2024-2027. This initiative includes 13 development programs such as league development, coach education scholarships, and elite performance preparation for women's national teams. As a powerhouse in African women's football, Nigeria is well positioned to secure FIFA's support and further elevate the sport domestically. Well, that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. Now, we did tell you that President Tinubu has promised massive food production, 15% inflation target in 2025. We also mentioned Nigeria has invited Niger Republic's dictator for talks to address tensions over sabotage claims. And finally, we said Senegal's president has declared end to hosting foreign military bases from 2025. You can watch News Central Live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Masugu.